The worst thing about not knowing your true self is lying to yourself.
When I had that people-pleasing tendency, which I think is really tough then.
Or people could be repelled because you are being real.
Actually, you are naturally more attractive and people are more drawn to you when you are real and not putting on a performance for them or, asking them things to make yourself look good or saying things to make yourself look good. Yeah.
Or people could be repelled because you are being real. It could work the other way around.
Yeah, of course, depending on the person lah. I think it's about sincerity that it really comes across. We think that people can't read, past our fake demeanor, but actually it comes through. Yeah, and they feel it's a different chemistry. The whole mood changes depending on how you want to present yourself in a real way or not.
Yeah, that's true. I think we also need to define true self, right? I mean, it can be defined in so many different ways, whether we want to see it from a spiritual perspective or we want to see it from a psychological perspective, or I think we all have our own unique lens, of looking at what is true self to you anyway. So, Jimmy, you wanna share?
I was gonna say I will probably be right and confident to make this statement that the three of us know our true selves. But I think where that difficulty is for somebody to, I'm trying to also kind of go back in time, when I had that people-pleasing tendency, which I think is really tough then, like if you have that, it's very tough to find your true self because you inevitably function in a way that you see success as catering to people, meeting everybody's expectations, even if it's a stranger, even if it's like friends of your parents or something like that, neighbors, right? That was difficult because then you go like, okay, so which is really my true self? Like if I go one particular direction, is that really my true self, or am I just picking one to those, I guess, watching, listening, right? And I would also assume that it would tend to be tied with age, like younger age. I feel like it's really about, letting it settle, like sediment. You kind of get a rough feel, and then with time and all that, it just slowly starts to settle more and more and more.
I think our true selves change also, evolve. Yeah, with our experiences, with knowing better.
Yes.
With the company we keep even.
I think evolve. I like the word evolve.
We don't remain the same. The true self doesn't remain the same, and thank God, right, that we can get better. I feel that I've never had a problem expressing exactly how I felt. And sometimes people don't like it and they're shocked by what I say, but whatever lah. Then they will just form an impression of me. Oh, you are very impulsive, you are very brash, and but it never bothered me. I was actually quite proud of being outspoken and just saying if I don't like a situation. I thought it was very, very clever, in fact. And I was very much younger and quite immature. So now I temper actually my honesty with kindness. And I feel that comes with maturity. And I don't think it's good to be brash and impulsive anymore. Not that I'm rejecting my old true self, but I feel that I have changed and I'm being molded and I'm trying to be humbler Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong in being honest. You become very transparent when you are honest, and when people interact with you, they know what they're getting.
Mm.
And sometimes it makes people feel uncomfortable because it's like, oh, okay, this is how she is. Do we want to accept it? Versus someone who maybe not being very real, and they are very sweet in everything they say, but then you get the sense like, okay, maybe not completely honest, so you're not very sure how much you should say, so honesty versus someone who who hide behind sweet words. I'd rather go with the honesty, and sometimes even if I don't like to hear what's being said, I think it's much, you feel maybe in a sense safer with the honest person, because you know that, okay, this is what it
What you
is.
see is what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, the definition of true self is, I mean, this is my personal spiritual belief, is that we are all made a certain way. We're all made different, but we're all made the same. We're all made different because we're all different expressions of the creator. And the creator wants to experience himself, herself through all of us, right, in different ways. And that's why we're different from each other. And that seed, right, or if you want to call it the soul, the seed of us within us that is like planted in us, right, or the soul that's within us, that's, for me, that's our true self. In living our lives, we are in process of uncovering that true self. We're realizing that true self. I mean, we are gonna fuck up along the way. There's no doubt about it, right? And the journey becomes so complicated. The journey becomes so upsetting. We go up and down, up and down. Everything that we experience in our lives, the good, the bad, all the different facets of us, is part of the expression of our true self, until we get to that point where we are realizing that true self, where we truly like make a connection with that true essence of our being. And we then, when we reach that point, then we are able to express ourselves fully, like a fully realized being, right?
As when we're resurrected.
Yeah, if
Body
you
and soul come back together, glorified. That's like
yeah,
the perfect true you.
yeah, if you put it in, from the Christian context, we'll look at it that way. Yeah, it's exactly that. When, and then in the process of becoming or realizing the true self, right, we will have all of these different aspects of ourselves that maybe we can explore.
Try on. Yeah.
And I don't
I
think
think it's
sometimes,
okay.
and I don't, as long as we are sincere in that process, we're not being fake about it. It may be different, but it's still, we were still learning, right? We were still in process.
Yeah.
And that's part of the journey, I feel. Not necessarily that we were fake.
It's exploration, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to decide if this is me, if this works for me, if this is what I really want in life, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the most honorable thing we can do for ourselves is to give ourselves the opportunity and the space to experience these different parts of ourselves, rather than shutting it down and say, oh, this is not right. I shouldn't be this, or I shouldn't be that. I think we are more than, we're not flat beings, right?
Yeah.
We're very, very 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional in that sense.
And we will branch out also.
Yeah.
It's not just a trunk.
Yeah.
The true self will branch out into many other different diverse things, interests, pursuits.
Yeah.
New skills, new thought,
Mm,
new ways of being.
for sure.
And I speak for myself, that discovery, the exploration process, I think at one point when you realize that you're kind of like trying to settle into that true self, I feel like you don't just fall into it like that. It's like pieces start to sort of fall off, and then you see pieces here and there. It's really about not being afraid of seeing what the true self is. I mean, some parts are good, some parts are just like, I didn't know that was my true self. But I think allowing us, being confident to tell yourself that you will be that safe space for yourself first. You will be that first safe space for yourself, and then and then in that process, you will find your people. Like some people, that inner circle may then fall off, but then it's okay. It's because as you're settling, other people are settling. It's almost like finding each other, right? And then you just gravitate and you'll find your people that fits that true self. And then sometimes then you shed a little bit more again, then maybe some will fall off again. I don't think there's anything wrong. The falling off doesn't mean they're bad people or they did something. It's just that part of it is gone and they have moved on to find their people. And
I believe deeply in resonance. We at every stage of our lives, right, we need to resonate with the people, the environment, the whatever's happening. And when you no longer resonate at that stage because you have evolved, right? We like the word evolve, then there's no more resonance with the environment and you have to move on. And and there's no turning back. I had this conversation with someone a few months back where she's part of a group, and she told me that, oh, I really like those times in talking about the past, right? And she wants to recreate that. And I said, you can't. Everyone is at different stages of life, different stages of development, and everybody have different likes and dislikes. Now you can't build it back, and try to relive. You can only treasure the wonderful memories and just move on. And because of the resonance, right? It's so when it comes to these sort of things, you just let the resonance do the work. You don't have to do anything to make things awkward or to pick a fight. You just let the resonance, because situations in life will be such that you will not meet, you will not even bump into each other when there's no more resonance, I feel. And that has always, if I look back into my own life, right, like people who no longer, we don't resonate, I don't even bump into them. It's like we're living in a totally different universe, even though Singapore is such a small country.
Well, not even don't bump into them. Sometimes for me they would still reach out, but I would just say no thanks. It's like no need. Like walk on by. I also wanted to say that the worst thing about not knowing your true self is lying to yourself. Never mind you lie to the world, but to deny, what's real about yourself to yourself is quite a dysfunction, right?
It's quite sad.
Very bad, and
it's quite sad.
And we are a lot of things. We are very ugly also sometimes, and deep down inside there's like all these dark spaces in us, and we need to be honest about it and acknowledge that we have the capacity to be that vile. And to be aware of it, and how what do you want to do with it? How do you carry this part of you?
I think that's such a valid thing to say, or important thing to say, that the true self is not necessarily bathe in golden
correct, follow your bliss,
because we tend to maybe go to a bookshop, then we see finding your true self. It just feels like it's that
we romanticize it,
chorus stuff. But I think the true self also is just it's truly what you can face and acknowledge and say
about yourself,
good and bad,
correct, and then the raw truth,
first you have to acknowledge that, then you can make a decision of, am I keeping that aspect, or do I like what do I want to do with it? But if you don't even acknowledge it and you're just like, oh, I'm not like that, or then it becomes difficult because it's just cloudy.
No self-awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Self-awareness is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the what you describe, Jimmy, is in my definition, right? We call it shadow work. So whenever we spot a dark side within us, what we want to do is throw light into the
yes.
shadow so that we can see much more clearly what's
I was just
happening in
gonna
the
say.
shadow, this darkness within us. And in my own inner work, right, I spend a lot of time, like whenever a shadow aspect, like I realize like, oh my god, there's this shadow part of me. And so throwing light means to journal with it, to explore. Like, what does this shadow self actually want? Why does it even exist, right? And to not be afraid. And I think for most people, society also conditions us, right? Like we have to hide all of these parts of ourselves. And the danger with this is that the more we try to suppress our shadow energies, the more it's going to show up, the more it's going to, and it will show up in the strangest ways. It will sabotage us. We start to wonder like, like, why did I do that? How did I become like that? And because the shadow has a lot of
Yeah.
power when we dare not throw light into it, we dare not look at it, right?
Then we're empowering it even more.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
I agree. I think it's the number one, just really having, and I feel the same could be said about like people, like lessons and how, if we don't sort of learn that lesson, the same thing just keeps repeating. It's like Groundhog's Day. Sometimes my heart goes out to them. Of course, I'm making a lot of assumptions. My heart goes out to them because I feel like they don't even have that awareness to know that that pattern is happening, and hence it's causing them that suffering. To be stuck in that hamster wheel,
The
right?
loop,
Not
yeah.
knowing how to get off of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that awareness, but once they have the awareness, it's like the letting light in. Then you kind of push open a little bit more light in. Maybe you then speak to somebody who can then guide you to explore that awareness of like, because I feel like there are people that are just stuck in loops, and sometimes you try, you out of the best of intentions, you try to. I also believe in timing. Like you try to tell them something, but they just, sometimes yes they're stubborn, but sometimes they just genuinely don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you mean? Like
Denial.
pattern. I'm just being very unlucky, or I'm just being, like this always just happens to me, or something like that.
Yeah, the victim. I think most people who don't have like they don't pause, they don't contemplate, they don't think. There is nothing right going on. I don't know how that works, but they don't. Yeah,
Reflect.
there's no self-reflection, and so they just live life like they're just part of this. Sometimes I feel like they are like the like in gaming, right? They call the what, the non
NPC.
yeah, the NPC, the non-playing character.
Yeah.
They're just there.
Yes.
Like a
I
prop.
think to this group of people, I guess life happens to them.
Yeah.
But then there are also people who they're the opposite of victims. They want to take control of everything, and they think that all their decisions are the best ones. And
That's the other
everybody,
term. Main
must
character syndrome.
correct. Yeah, so there
Yeah.
are people like that too. And they don't realize that they're actually causing a lot of harm for their relationships with people, friendships, and yeah, wow.
That also comes from insecurity, right?
Yes.
It has to come from somewhere, right? All our darkness. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like there
Yeah.
must be a root to it.
There's
Root
always
Force that's
yeah.
feeding it.
Yeah.
I think the worst are the people who know that they tend to have a certain pattern, but they refuse to do anything about it. That's the worst. Like if you're unaware, then you're like blissfully unaware, right?
Yes, I agree. I agree.
You seem fine, but you're just causing problems for other people, but you're still unaware.
Ignorant.
Yeah, but
It's forgivable.
the worst is people who know but choose to remain in that position, causing themselves harm, causing other people
Perpetrators,
harm. Huh?
I guess there's
perpetrators, manipulators.
I guess there's comfort in the familiar.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I'm always like that. What
Yeah.
I
Like, take it
always
or
play
leave it.
this character. What yeah, in everybody's life, in every situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna change the script.
Oh,
Why do I have to relearn the script?
yes.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. This just suddenly made me think of something, right? That since we're going down that path, if we're talking about this type of characteristic, I find that yes, it comes from insecurity and see that as a form of strength,
yeah.
as a form of no, I'm just
I know better.
opinionated.
Yeah. Or
I
I
just have an
know
opinion
you
and I
don't
will say
know.
it.
Correct.
Yeah. Or I
Yeah.
just believe that if you want something, you have to go for it. It's rules of life or ways of life are interpreted in a way that fits their goals.
Yeah.
To say, yeah, isn't that what people say? If you want something, you go for it, something like that.
Yeah.
Life is what you make out of it, or something like that.
But okay, on to more the nicer aspects of knowing
Yes.
your true self, pursuing things that give you peace and joy. That is also a way of knowing your true self. Yeah. If you pursue things that give you true peace and joy, that shows you know your true self. Yeah.
I feel in the process of arriving at peace and love and joy and all that is a process, and that process requires creativity. Like we have to use this aspect of ourselves, which is the creative energy, right? And that creative energy is unique in each of us, and the creative is a godsend, right? Because I mean, we have creator. Obviously, creator are gonna make us creative, right? And if we use our creative energy in any way to do things, to create something, to live our lives, I feel that we will find or we will experience the joy. Because at the end of the day, right, life is like creating something and experiencing the joy and the peace. And to pursue that, I feel, especially in midlife, right, if we have not come to this realization about using that creative part of our mind or part of ourselves, then we can start. We can
Yeah.
start right now. If
Yeah.
we've never
Yeah.
use that part of ourselves, we can start now, because we still have the second half of our lives, and there's so much to explore, so much to do for the rest of our lives, to get to the point where, like what Sue said, right? Like you grow your tree. You want to grow more branches. You want to grow what sort of flowers you want to see on your tree? What kind of fruit do you want to
Yeah.
see, right?
And what you want to attract, what
Yeah.
kind of birds and life, life will come to settle in it and take shelter in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you become a sheltering tree
Yeah.
that gives life. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the book, The Giving Tree?
It sounds very familiar.
The Giving Tree is fully illustrated. It's by this author Shell. He in the photo he has passed on. I think the photo on his the front of the book, right, is like a illustrated. It looks like a kid's book, very innocent. Then when you flip to the back, right, you see it's a black and white photo of him. He looks like a convict. And it's like, huh? How did this man write this book, The Giving Tree? It's a very, very powerful book. I highly recommend it. It's very simple to read, but the meaning is so profound. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
go check it out. Giving Tree.
It's
Yeah.
like, going back to the Bible, it's like the mustard seed, which is the smallest seed, but it grows into a huge tree that becomes a shelter for all the birds and life all the life around. Yeah. I guess so. It's the same concept of the giving tree.
I wanted to kind of like reflect or provide my reflection, right, to something that what Sue said earlier on about peace. I think that is a sign when you see one facet of your true self, or when you discover one facet of your true self. What comes of it should be some peace. Like earlier, we talked about looking at the darker sides of the true self, but also
The
just
light.
the
Yeah.
lighter side of the true self.
Yeah.
There should be the peace, and then the darker side, the peace will come, but later, right? First is the
Yeah.
awareness,
Yeah.
working through it, then maybe
Yeah.
shedding it or learning how to live
I
with
think
it.
it's like mastering it. You have to master your dark side. You cannot just let it run willy-nilly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was also going to say, like, you're talking about creativity. Each of us has a very specific combination of a brand of creativity that's just so different, right? And it's like a charism, almost like a gift from the creator, and you use it also to serve. And we all serve in very different ways. We
Yeah.
choose to be of service. We choose our love language is all different. How we express, there is always a particular way that you would go to your go-to love language, right? Yeah. Like some people it's like doing stuff for
yes,
people.
yes.
Some people it's like words,
Yeah.
affirmation, writing, or buying gifts. Some people just love to buy gifts for other people. Yeah.
Even now, as like as we're talking about this, right, I'm thinking about like, oh yeah, there are people, like maybe my colleagues, something that will say, oh, I cannot be able to do what she does. She can make like a PowerPoint looks really good. I mean, she meaning the design or creative director or something, right? But then I'm thinking, yeah, but you have a way with words. You are amazing with plants.
Yeah.
I cannot handle plants. I think it's one of those like I go near them, they'll die. And then somebody else will be like they cannot do whatever. Like for example, my mom is creative in many ways, but one of the things is she can cook with no recipe. You just tell her go marketing, right? And then you just say, oh, I feel like eating lady's fingers, and then something will just this dish will just come up. So I think everybody just has different.
And that's her love language too, to feed.
Yeah, so everybody just has a different gift, skill, talent, and there is a purpose. Yeah, there is a purpose.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
how the application.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes even if your gift, right, that you bring into this world is underappreciated by some people, doesn't mean that there's no value in what you're giving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the thing that upsets people. I feel like they feel underappreciated. They feel like whatever they're
discouraged. Yeah.
they feel and they stop pursuing it.
Yeah.
And that's quite sad, I feel.
Yeah.
When there's a lot of pressure, like people are under pressure, they just stop.
Yeah.
And
Or they take up something that they think, okay, this is what the world wants. This is what my family wants. Yeah.
Or they seek mainstream or very
conventional
narrow definitions of validation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Or like,
if you do that, then that means you're good at this.
correct. Or like my friends like this, so okay lah, I'll just do it as well. My friends like Pilates, so I'll just go for Pilates, but I actually don't enjoy it. Yeah, that's a terrible way of like not living your true self. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they might feel like, oh, then I have nothing in common with them. Then we will have nothing much to talk about, and then they will leave me out, and then I'm not going to be part of this pack. And I need to be part of a pack to feel strong, to feel invincible. Some people just need to be part of a pack. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're still finding themselves. Like a child, right? When you're still finding yourself, you need to have a best friend. You need to have, and unfortunately, there are a lot of people still, their minds are still like children, intellectually, emotionally, they're still like kids in adult bodies. So they're still finding themselves. And I mean, we probably have observed or seen people right up to their 80s, 70s or 80s. They are still unsure about who they are, and I
Yeah.
often think about this, like, you know what, on my deathbed, there's no way I'm gonna be that kind of a person where I don't know who I am, or I spend all my time doing this
What I
where,
didn't want to do.
yeah, or like building something that you cannot even take with you. I mean, there are a lot of things that people build that they know they cannot take with them upon death, but they still
They
spend so
throw
much
their
time
whole
and energy
lives. Yeah.
building it. Yeah, like keeping the focus in the wrong in wrong area, like in that sense. And on the deathbed, just feeling so unhappy and not ready to leave. I think
Yeah.
that's the worst, when you're not at peace with death.
Yeah. Or like, oh, my husband likes golf, so I'm just gonna take up golf. Otherwise, we won't be spending time together. My husband likes to drink wine, so okay, I've become like into wine too. I don't understand that.
The other way around too, right? My
Yeah.
wife.
Yeah. I mean, if you like it, great,
Yeah.
But if you don't, then don't force yourself to be someone you're not. Yeah. And if you don't agree with that person, say it. Don't agree just to be agreeable. They're
Yeah.
not being truthful. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I think couples, they have a lot of unresolved issues, right? Like they never work through some of their past stuff, and so they avoid arguing. So they're afraid that if I bring this up, then we're gonna have another fight. Like why?
Yeah.
But actually, that's just a symptom. There's something really deeper inside that they have not resolved. They have not even had a conversation, and that's why things just erupt.
Yeah.
When they bring up,
It's a false peace.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
And
is
if you
false.
feel you can't even discuss these things, then
Something is off.
you
Yeah,
shouldn't even be friends, maybe.
exactly. Exactly. I posted a video yesterday on my social media, talk about why people like they already know what they need to do, but they don't want to do it because they're waiting for a gentler solution. But the hard things are hard because they make
They
us
just
learn,
are.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard. And we sometimes, if we avoid the truth because we're waiting for something gentler, we're just killing ourselves in the process. We just make things much more difficult, in the long term. Yeah. And the waiting for something easier and better will not happen, because if the thing is hard, it's hard. It's not going to be
Correct.
any easier. Yeah.
Correct.
How do you return to your true self? Okay, we're going to use that definition. Whenever you feel off balance, whenever you feel like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm not who I am today. I mean, things happen, right? This is life. Then how do you return to your true self, to your center again?
I just go for adoration. I just sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament and I just tell Jesus. I don't even have to tell him, he knows what happened. Yeah. And then I'll just say, look, this is what happened. I feel like this. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm disappointed with myself, blah, blah, blah. I'm not in a good place. Yeah. And then I just let him minister to me. Yeah. And some wisdom will come out of it. Yeah. And then I'll have clarity. I may not have the full picture of exactly, do all the 10 steps, but it's like, okay, step one, at least I know, okay, this is what must change, or must be done or not done. And yeah, then I just go from there.
Jimmy?
Yeah, for me, I was trying to think. For me, it would be really creating a space for myself in that moment where I can be by myself with as little distractions as possible. Okay, I don't want to sound like, oh, I do this often, but I don't meditate often, but if it's really needed, I do, just so that I can center myself. I think I just, when something like that happens, it just feels very floated, or I feel like pieces of myself are just all over, this what happens, right? Sometimes things
Grounded.
happen that you don't expect, and you're not prepared for it, and then suddenly like a certain piece of you gets pulled this way or that way. So I try to center myself with no expectations of like, oh, I'm gonna find a solution or whatever, but really just center myself. Often, yeah, in that centering and becoming a lot more still, the peace comes back, and then things will settle. And sometimes I may immediately feel something that will help. Sometimes with the situation that happened earlier that day or whatever, sometimes I don't. But then it will always set up that door and walk through that. It will come. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think when you're all over the place, you cannot make good decisions anyway. Yeah. So the first step is that you need to calm and center yourself.
yes,
Be centered and grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I like to take walks.
yes, that helps.
Yeah. Walks, or I do deep breathing, or I go back into my drawings, or meditate. So I do different things depending on how I feel, just to get centered. Because sometimes meditation you can't,
Yeah,
like you just can't, because there's so much still going on. And then go for a walk, right? That helps to get back into center. The other thing also that I like to explore, what you said earlier on, Jimmy, about like different fragments of yourself, right? Like you suddenly you feel like you're all over. And I sometimes feel like, let's say, depending on what happened, right, to make you frazzled, to make you feel like you're all over. And sometimes I would explore, like, okay, why do I feel like I'm, fragmented? Where did this fragment go? And what did this fragment do to me, to make me feel this way? Or did this fragment of myself betray me by being less than, by being, or in whatever ways, right, to betray my true self, like, in a sense. And I would sit and recall and say, oh my god, this part of me did this or did that. And I would journal it. Yeah, and that really helps me to come back into my center. Sometimes I would even communicate with that fragmented self. What's your deal? Like, why did you say that? Or why did you do that? Why did you not speak up? Could be one, right? And that for me is betrayal. Like, why you betray me by not speaking up? Right? So I would have this like an inner dialogue that I usually like to do on pen and paper lah, just so I can see much more clearly what is going on in my own consciousness. So that helps to bring the fragments back.
Yeah. I also want to add that for me, right, it's really, like I said, centering myself, trying to bring in some peace. And one of the things that, as you were talking, I was like, oh yeah, this is the thing that I do actually. I try to, especially when you mention walks, and I have really an advantage that, big wide open spaces where I can walk in the outdoors in great weather. But what I've always found very helpful is observing nature, even in the most minute expressions of nature. Observing that takes my attention away, creates that space. It forces open that
Distance.
space. Yeah, so my mind is not constantly like ruminating.
Spiraling,
Oh, like this, that. Yeah, it creates that space. Then it's like regulating, like regulating myself.
Yeah.
Self-regulating, yeah.
Yeah, self-regulating. Yeah, yeah.
And you also realize that the universe, you're just a small part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not all about you,
Yeah.
Yeah. And the world is so much bigger than you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also the problem becomes, the perspective becomes more accurate. Like, okay lah, it was just a argument or whatever, or yeah, I why did I feel that way after that person said what he or she said? Yeah. Yeah. Then yeah, it just puts things in perspective.
it's like zooming out, because in that moment with all the emotions, right?
Yeah.
You're like 16x, 32x, and all you see is
Yeah.
this, right? But you keep
Yeah.
going out like, okay, let me do 8, 4, whatever, then 0.25, and you start seeing more, and you just go, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you all seen this? It's a meme, like of the entire universe, then with all the stars and
Oh,
the planets, and then the arrow and said, "You are here."
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
seeing a version of that. Yeah.
It's
Oh
quite
my gosh.
funny.
I also feel that when you do whatever to center and self-reflect, it also helps you to think about how that person, what frame of mind that person might have been in, and what are the reasons why he or she behaved that way that affected you so negatively.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
And then it gives you a better understanding. And I don't know, then I become more forgiving. Yeah.
Mm,
Then I soften. It's like, yeah, we're all struggling and we all have darkness, and
yeah.
sometimes we can't control it and we can't help it. Yeah.
Mm,
And then when you come with that understanding, it just feels so much better. Yeah. I mean, it may not
mm,
solve the problem, but at least you have a better handle of the situation. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. That's like developing empathy and compassion, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least it gives you one, stretches the possibilities. It gives you one more to consider.
Yeah.
And you're not just focused on like that one or
Your
two,
own
like, oh, that
pain.
person is an
Yeah.
idiot, or that person like deliberately, or I'm such a horrible person, or something like that. Like it stretches
Correct.
that,
Correct.
and then
Yeah.
minimally that helps.
Yeah. And also like understanding why you did that. And then you become more forgiving of yourself too.
Oh,
Kinder
so
to yourself.
important.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so important, because like I used to, I used to reflect a lot. Like I was one of those like overthinkers probably even until now. But back then I would overthink, overanalyze, and then start like self-flagellation. Like, oh, I did this, like, oh, so bad, like you're such a horrible person, or like, oh, you're so stupid, how can you let that happen, or let this person say this to you, and it's not helpful.
Yeah.
I think as much as we want to develop empathy and compassion for others, there's also a limit lah. Like I mean, we can forgive people for what they do because we
We
understand.
need to know what bullshit
Yeah.
is and call it
Yeah, lah, of
out.
course. Of course, of
Yes.
course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
can keep on doing, and then if we use that and say, oh, I must have empathy, compassion for them because they came from a terrible background or whatever,
Oh,
then we become the
yeah. We
you know?
enable the
Yeah.
bad behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that has to be a
Yeah.
point of knowing, okay, this person is not just
Yeah. But
yeah.
for me, the beauty of bullshit, like real, true, unadulterated bullshit, is like it doesn't affect me, It's like, oh, bullshit. And I don't even get upset because it's like you're not even worth
Yeah.
the energy, the negative energy. Yeah. So I'll
Yeah.
just like laugh to myself. And it
Yeah.
may not even make me angry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a non-issue. Yeah. It's the people who also are struggling. It's a genuine
Yeah.
person struggling too. Yeah, those tend to like sometimes discombobulate me, and I'm like, oh yeah, how did it get to this point? Yeah.
Mm. Knowing our true self it's not an easy process.
Mm,
Yeah.
It's really not.
yeah.
I think because we are the closest to ourselves, there are so many things that we can't see, we don't know, because we're so close to it,
Blind
right?
spot.
Yeah.
Blind spots all over. Yeah.
All
correct.
over. It's not an easy process. I think the hardest person to know is always yourself.
It takes a lot, right? Like you have to really set the stage. You have to have the maturity to be honest with yourself, to be like, okay, even if I see sides of myself that
I don't like.
I'm like that, but no, that's what I don't like in other people. And then you learn the term projection, right? And then you're like, oh, so that's what they call projection. Things like that. I think in terms of like, if you know how to spot your true self, it means you have already started to find it. Then you know. I think it's the transition of getting to know, like, wait, So is this my true self? Is this my true self? I think that, like earlier what Sue said, right, about peace, it should come with some level of peace, right? You're in the flow and you feel like, oh, I'm moving with everything else, and it should feel
Easy.
somewhat more effortless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the same time, also more difficult.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yeah, because you'll be
Yeah.
challenged,
Yes. Yeah.
the challenges don't stop.
Yes.
Because I always believe, when we are on our way to growth or coming closer to love, as in divine love, not necessarily infatuation or
Yeah.
whatever unhealthy love, we will be
Persecuted.
the dark. There's always the darkness, right? There's always that always wants to challenge us to see how much we want it, to see if we, maybe with ourselves, right? Like, maybe we start the question, am I worthy of it? And so we may even stop ourselves, and we start to listen to non-truths from the darker sides of ourselves or darker side of the universe.
Growing pains.
Growing pains. I always feel like people who talk about growth like it's very easy, or that they are enlightened already. I always find like, oh my god, I have, maybe it's a judgment on my part lah. I just feel like people like that, they don't know what is enlightenment if they have to declare that they are enlightened. There's something wrong in that process, because you're enlightened, you don't have to say you're enlightened, right? You know there's a knowingness and you just be that. If you have to declare, then you're not really enlightened one. It goes against everything to do with enlightenment if you have to make a declaration. Yeah.
Let me enlighten you that I am enlightened. In case you don't know it and cannot see it.
Yeah. I had this encounter, this many, many years ago, when this person was forcing everyone to listen to her. And she said, I got a message from God. You have to listen. You know who I am? I'm a messenger from God.
Okay.
And of course, at first you want to give her benefit of the doubt, right? And then you listen and you realize that, okay, this is
Loony bin.
this sounds more like a mental illness than a messenger. So, but for someone in that position, in her position, she truly believes that, right? I mean, the mind can be
Of
so,
course.
the
Yeah.
mind is so
Convincing.
powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not able to tell the difference. I'm not sure whether she still
Mm.
goes around telling people she's a messenger of God, but I hope she finds peace.
And she's obviously mentally unsound.
You don't have to be very mentally.
Highly functioning. though.
Yes, exactly. And
Okay.
unfortunately, on the spiritual path, right, there are a lot of very high functioning people like that who then suddenly the ego gets the better of them lah, and they start to make declarations that they're this or that.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my god. Yeah.
I
Scary.
think the moment you say I'm okay, I'm there, I'm state of the art, you stop
not.
growing. Yeah. And that's when you will invite trouble. Yeah. Actually.
Quite a common phenomenon, actually. So whenever people send me like websites and say, oh, there is this new spiritual teacher or guru or whatever they call lah. I mean, from whatever faith, whether it is more Hinduism or Buddhism or even Christian or whatever, right? They'll send me a link and say, oh, this person, I think it maybe is a true teacher, a good teacher. What do you think? I go to a website and I see, okay, a lot of self-promotion, a lot of like all that. I say, well, maybe you need to explore further. I really don't think, but you have to listen to the lectures, and this and that.
Like money making, I'm sure.
Actually, the money making is not the bad thing. It's maybe they need to make money to grow the foundation, to do more charity work or whatever, right? The money thing, I don't judge that. What I look at is the things they say, the declarations that they make, like about who they are. That's a red flag, because Yeah, I mean, it goes against everything that is. If you say you're enlightened, but then you behave like you're not, then how? It's not. It doesn't make
Doesn't
sense,
add up.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. So, but maybe in the meantime, they're doing good charity, they're building hospitals, or they're building schools. Good for them, right? But I feel the ego sometimes, when it gets to a certain point, it will collapse lah, because it can't
Yeah.
hold.
If you do good to glorify yourself, it's
Yeah.
not good. Yeah.
Yeah. And I also think that just kind of like reflecting on what you just shared, just story, right? Shamala, I think lately, I would say in the last few years, I've really come to this mode of operation where don't hero worship somebody to the extent where everything is passed through this lens of like this. Yeah, I mean, have a healthy level of skepticism.
Yeah.
And it's not. Yeah, it's not like, oh, there must be something wrong with this person, because it's not that, like the jealousy kind, but just that healthy level of because we're all complicated, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's when it gets to that hero worship is where, I mean, for example, like Deepak Chopra, right?
Yeah.
And then there were like others, even more current ones where they
Yes.
are like,
So
they've
many.
written books, they have like very
Yes.
successful podcasts about how to live life
Yeah.
in different, how should I say it, in different sectors.
Yeah.
Some in
Personal
healthcare, some in like
development. Yeah.
spirituality and all that. And then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's good to have that some level of like, okay, holding back.
Yeah, I think for many people it was very shocking, because I think the hero worship all these guys, right? And then when the Epstein files dropped, then some of these names were revealed, some of the emails, the conversations, the bro talk, and you wonder, so they do all
That's
this
their true
bro.
self.
Exactly, they do all this bro talk, and then they write books about whatever, right? Spirituality, enlightenment, and it just, then you're like, oh my god, this world is so screwed.
But the world is like that.
Yeah,
The world is screwed. And these people are powerful people.
very
That's
powerful.
why they get away
Very
with doing
powerful
things like that.
people.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a thought that probably has nothing to do with what we've been talking about in the last few minutes, but it occurred to me recently that it's okay for me not to be sure of myself as long as I'm sure of God. Yeah. That line just hit me like a week ago. It's like, it's okay. You don't have to know everything and to be very sure about everything that you're doing or going
Yeah.
to do, but
Yeah.
just be sure of God. Just trust. Yeah.
There's a certain order of life, and it's been since time immemorial that there has to be a certain order because
Yeah.
otherwise things would be so chaotic. The
That's
world.
how
Not to say,
the world was created from.
yeah, not to say the world
order.
is not chaotic right now.
Yeah.
There will always be pockets of chaos, but still, there's a certain order.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like things still move on. The sun still rises, and there has to be that. Yeah, and for me, I take comfort in that level of greater power. What needs to happen will happen for the greatest good to keep things going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even death is part of the order, and sometimes part of the process is death. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And in that
Yeah.
sense, I mean, if you think about it, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? Death, okay?
Yeah.
But then,
Yeah.
then,
Yeah. That's not the end. Yeah.
One of those, like, they will use it in like movies or TV shows as like a punchline of like, oh, but we're all going to die, like, don't you know, that kind of thing. And then like little kids will be like,
Right.
like that, right? But I mean, it is the truth. We're all gonna die, that's a certainty. We're all getting older, that's a certainty. Just that some people don't get to be older beyond a certain age, but every day everybody's getting older. So, and I think once you make peace with that, that's when, I guess I speak for myself, that's when I realized that, our time is finite. So like I don't know, do what learn something, go a little bit deeper into reflection or something like that. Yeah, make full use of that time.
That's
Yeah.
something we can't accumulate time.
Exactly.
You cannot, get more of it ever. Yeah.
You
Cannot
can't.
save it.
You don't
Yeah.
get interest.
Yes. We can't
Even if-
invest.
Yeah.
and it's very freeing to just, like you say, trust. In the end, we all can't be sure of everything.
Yeah.
Just do your best and
Flow into the state, I guess, that you are meant to be, the role you're meant to play, that piece of the puzzle that you were meant to be in the larger order of things, and it should be okay. Maybe in the end you did not achieve that perfect shape that you were meant to be, but close enough is good enough.
Yeah.
the best
Keep
that
on
you
creating.
can be. Yeah.
Have you all seen the movie Sliding Doors? It's a very old movie. Gwyneth
Gwyneth Paltrow, right?
Yes.
Where
I
like
didn't watch it,
there
but I
are
remember that.
two endings or
uh,
something.
Yeah.
And the
It's-
theme song was really nice.
Oh, I don't remember the theme song. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, what you said, Jimmy, reminded
Choices.
me, of Sliding Doors. Maybe it's time to go and dig out and see where I can find the movie and watch it again. Yeah, be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this has been a good conversation. We went meandering,
Down the rabbit hole.
Yes.
but it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
And thank you.
Thank you
Thanks for
sharing
the fun conversation.
Yeah.
and all the deep reflections.
I know, very organic.